Mary Grace, let's do some more work with doing octaves. I know I sort of introduced it to you, and we spent most of our time, I think, the other day on going over D minor. But I'd kind of like to look in your lesson book at page 30, where we talked about, excuse me, where we added the new octave, or new interval of an octave. And that top interval review goes through reviewing each of the intervals. You already know a second. If we'd block them, you'd hear this. And in that exercise, you are doing it in C major. It asks you to transpose each hand to G major and D major. Remember the sharps? We did the little cube the other day to think about what the key signature looks like for each of those keys, so hopefully you can visualize that in your mind. Then they have you do the scale in octaves. And again, this is one that you could transpose to G or D if you wanted to. But I liked the suggestion they give at the bottom of the page where it says, explore playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with octaves. It's something that you should already know in your ear. And then what are you going to do? You're going to go up a fifth, right? That's probably not going to be too terribly difficult for you, but I'd like you to try that. See if you can play that melody in the right hand and then in the left hand also. See if you can sound that out with left hand octaves. So that's at that part at the bottom where it says creative. You see the little art thing. So I don't believe I assigned that during your lesson, but I'd like you to try to do that if you could. While you have that book open, let's just quickly go and look at a page, because it suggests doing one of these places here. It talks about using the open hand extensions, which is at the beginning of your technique book. So it's number 4 in the technique book, and it talks about a little exercise that you would do away from the piano first, where it just says open. Let's see if I can get that in the camera. There we go. Open and close and open and close, and just kind of stretch that hand back and forth. They say to try to do it 8 times. Then do this little exercise. Open your hand up is what they say. You can say along while you're playing. And then you just move up to D. Open your hand up. Open your hand up, and so forth. Did you notice that I was doing staccatos? So if you could see, let's see if I can get so I can show you my hand. So I was just basically bouncing up that octave like that, and then your hand, open your hand up like that. So notice I'm not going like this. I'm not putting tension in my hand. You can just see the tension in my hand, can't you? Because you can see my bones and you can see my veins. That's not what we want. We want your hand to stay nice and relaxed as you go back and forth between the octaves. So this exercise here, open hand for extensions, it's called a hand toss, and it will help your hand to get more used to doing those. You're going to see the right hand was what I was doing. It was ascending. The left hand starts on middle C, and it's descending, and you'll go from C to C to do that exercise. While we're in the technique book, there's also a page to work on octaves, and I've got the camera facing this way. Let's just, so you notice you've got a left hand octave bounce and chords in the right hand, and then on the bottom you have a right hand octave bounce and chords in the left hand. Look and see at the beginning of the exercise, what key are you in? The key with 2 sharps is D major. The right hand one, they ask you to transpose to C major. That would be a well worth doing activity, and then it says to transpose the left hand one to G major. The little note is at the bottom. So I don't believe I assigned that to you, but I'd like you to practice the left hand octave bounce. as well as, I know you had a couple other things in this book, so we'll see if we can try to finish up the things that are in the units previous to this, and then we'll see if we can get some more work done with the octaves. Then one other thing I believe I had assigned you was the minuet in F, which was on the next page. My page is crooked. 31. And this is a little minuet, which is, remember, a minuet is a dance, by Leopold Mozart, who was Wolfgang's father. So this is a very early classical type dance. So you're going to notice the octaves happen in the B section. If you remember the names of our forms, you have to pick up there, the two-part form is called either binary or ternary. So I'd like you to write that on there, and I'll check it if we haven't done that already. Because I have that other girl at the same place, I'm just not quite sure what I did do with you and what I didn't do. But what I thought I'd like to do is I'm going to play the right hand, and I won't repeat them. Just so that you could try playing the left hand with it to see how it fits. Maybe I will repeat it. It's not that long of a song. And Ted is barking, so maybe he'll stop before I'm done. So, all right, so minuet in F, you're thinking you have a B flat. You want the one flat in your key signature. I'm going to count it in, and notice you rest, so it'll be that part I put the left hand in, but this time when I say that we're going to start, I'm going to let you do the left hand. We will go ahead and do both of the repeats in this binary form song. Before we do that, I'm going to close the door. Something exciting must be happening in my street. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. And repeat. B section. And repeat. And sometimes it just helps to have that other part to practice along with. You can also try to play the right hand along with my playing too, but I'm not going to play the left hand today for you to play along with, just because it's a little tricky when you have those rests at the beginning of the measures. So anyway, that gives you a little bit more instruction on the octave playing and trying to dig our teeth into that minuet.